All right, let's talk about the gatekeepers. Depending on the region that you are in, there are certain people that hold the key to almost everything that you want, which are auditions and roles. So, first of all, of course, I always recommend having an agent. Agents are very important. They're your business partner, and they're also well respected in the industry, and it shows that you're a professional. Now, I'm not dissing anybody who doesn't have an agent right now, but what I'm trying to say is producers like to work with casting directors. Casting directors like to work with agents, not so much actors directly, unless, of course, they fit a very specific niche, and under special circumstances, that's okay. But other than that, you need to have an agent. You need to understand the process, how it works in your region. Now, maybe in a small town, you don't necessarily need an agent to apply for a theater gig because you're going to go audition in the open call. Well, that's fine. But again, those are special instances. If you're in one of the larger regions, or whatever region you are in, if you understand the lay of the land, you understand that probably having an agent works to your benefit because they have relationships. And again, much of this business is all about relationships. So let's talk about the gatekeepers in your region. Something I want to say right off the top, don't waste your time applying for, if you live in Ohio, waste your time applying for something in LA unless, again, you either have a very high level of experience or you have a very, very specific niche that you can fill that only a dozen other people in the country can. Again, I'll use the example of being a giant. If you're 7 feet tall, it's very special, it's very hard to find people like that, then you've got a chance auditioning almost anywhere. But if you're like me, who's a late 40s gentleman, fits the businessman category, the professional category, then I'm not going to waste my time applying to something in Miami or in New York or in LA. I'm not going to apply outside of the region that I'm in. If I'm in LA, I'm not applying to New York for this because I'm not a star. I'm not a celebrity. So what I'm trying to say to you is whatever region you're in, focus on that. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Okay, that's the problem with these resources like Breakdown Services and Mandy and all those casting services that you read about in Backstage and all those, and they're all wonderful resources. But the problem with actors is that you get distracted and you start going for the long shot. Well, listen, acting's already a long shot the way the system is set up. The reason why you're in this program is I want to make it a sure thing for you. So focus on the region that you're in. And what you do with this is if you can get an agent, or whether you get an agent or not, you need to know who the gatekeepers are. And most cities don't have that many casting directors. I know LA and New York and Toronto and Vancouver, they have several. Yes, it's true. In Chicago and Miami, potentially, yeah, sure. Lots of casting directors, but lots in these big cities is still maybe a dozen, right? Let's just say there's a dozen. Let's just say for your instance, let's just say a dozen, okay? Most actors in the smaller markets don't have a dozen casting directors. There's probably a dozen in Toronto. There's maybe half a dozen in Montreal in French and English. Vancouver, maybe another half dozen or so. And if you go into Chicago, it's probably very similar to Toronto. There's a dozen. You got New York and LA, which are the meccas, so there's many more. But still, for your purposes, focus on identify gatekeepers that you will focus your efforts on. Rather than trying to win roles all around the world, which is a waste of time, focus on your region. Get to know who these gatekeepers are. Get to know what kind of shows that they cast, and then build relationships with them specifically. And we're going to talk more about that in another module. But at least for now, I want you to identify who are the main casting directors in your region. Who are the main agencies? You know, whenever I audition, I'll always take a walk around it because sometimes there are audition places where we audition that there are multiple casting directors casting out of the same office complex. So they're oftentimes next door to each other. So I'll just walk from one call sheet to the next, and I'll see who are the agents that the actors are getting to audition for this particular casting director. Because again, it's about relationships. Certain casting directors like certain agents, and sometimes they're friends, and they call. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the way it is. Don't get mad. Don't hate the game. Don't hate the players. Just hate. Don't hate the game either. Just deal with it, accept it. It's the way it is. So what you want to know is which casting directors are doing most of the work, because those are the people you're going to focus your energy on to win their love. And we talked in a previous module, another module, about your tools. If your tools are aligned with your brand, that's what you're going to bring forward to these casting directors. And that's how you're going to present yourself with your agent, hopefully, as your partnership, that you're going to focus your efforts on 3 or 4 casting directors that are doing the majority of the work. And it's, again, in business, it's the 80-20 rule. 20% of, or 80% of your business will come from 20% of your customers. And your customers are producers and casting directors. My resume, personally, is a result of 4 or 5 casting directors. Earlier in my career, there was one casting director that basically gave me 80% of my work. It's a relationship, and I thank them very much for that. But it works the same in every city. It's a little idealistic to think that it's all about the craft. No, it's all about a combination of things, all that are within the Actor Advantage program that you're learning now. So for now, for the action item for this, action item for this, your task for this action item is to get the list of the casting directors in your region. And then we're going to identify them with a 0, a 1, or a 2. If you've never auditioned for them, it's 0. If you audition for them once, it's once. If you audition for them more than once, it's 2. Anyway, you'll see it on the PDF. Download it. Make the list of your casting directors. Identify who they are. And you're going to see if those are the main ones. If you've never auditioned for them, then that might be one of your goals for this year, is to say, I'm going to let them know who I am. So it's about bringing your tools together, getting an agent, presenting yourself in a way, or meeting them at a conference or at a casting director seminar, whatever. Find a way to target them and say, I'm going to be on their radar. So you're going to bring everything together. But first, you got to do the research. You got to know who they are. There's no sense having somebody who casts one thing every 5 years. You know, it's nice if they like you, but the reality is they're only going to cast you once every 5 years. You want the casting directors that are working all the time. You need to identify who they are, and you need to become one of the people on their list who they know and respect as an artist in show business. So download the PDF. You're doing great. Keep it up. Download that PDF. Fill it out. Identify. This is one action item that is so important, so that you don't waste your time. I don't want you shooting like a shotgun. I want you shooting like a sniper. And you identify 3 to 5 casting directors, let's just say, in your region who you don't have a relationship with yet, and that's going to be your focus for the next 6 to 9 months. All right? Download the PDF and have yourself a fantastic day. And we're here for you. When you're done with your PDF, fill it out, and then send it to us. mysuccess@actoradvantageprogram.com. Love to take a look at it. And of course, if you have any questions, send us an email at info@actoradvantageprogram.com. There's never been a better time to be in show business.